We have another systems of equations word problem, 6D. Your boat travels 100 kilometers downstream and back. The trip downstream takes 4 hours. The trip upstream takes 20 hours. What is the speed of the boat in still water? So the biggest challenge of these word problems is to come up with your two equations and two unknowns. Keep rereading the question and try to set these up. Downstream. The current is helping you go faster. We know that distance equals velocity times time, but your regular velocity is going even faster because of the current. Now we know that the trip takes 4 hours, so t is equal to d over v plus c, and we substitute t with 4, resulting in equation number 1. As for upstream, distance equals velocity times time, but the velocity is negatively impacted by the current, so we subtract c. It's the same current going up and down. We substitute in 20 hours for t, and we divide both sides by the coefficient v minus c, so therefore d over v minus c equals 20 is our second equation. So once you have two equations, two unknowns, we know that we can do this. Let's isolate for d, multiply both sides by the denominator v plus c. We get d equals 4 times v plus c. And for equation number 2, we get d equals 20 times v minus c. We travel the same distance, so therefore this equals this. Distance equals distance, 4 times v plus c equals 20 times v minus c. And we're given that the boat travels 100 kilometers downstream and back. So when we add these amounts, we get the total 100 kilometers. Now the rest is just a matter of algebra. We multiply using distribution. 4 times v, 4 times c is equals to 20v minus 20c. And let's just continue on the second line here. The sum is 100 kilometers. Now for this line we divide by 4, so 4v becomes v, 4c becomes c, 20v becomes 5v, minus 20c becomes minus 5c, and 100 becomes 25. And v plus 5v is 6v, and c minus 5c is negative 4c. Now we need to relate v's with c's to solve for v and c. So we previously stated that both distances are the same. So this is distance number 1 is equals to distance number 2. So that's this line up here. We divide by 4, so 4v becomes v, 4c becomes c, 20v becomes 5v, negative 20c becomes negative 5c. We just gather like terms. 6z equals 4v, and when we divide by 2, we get 3c equals 2v. Dividing both sides by 3, we get c equals 2v over 3. And we substitute the c value into here. Okay, so the rest is just algebra. Multiply both sides by the denominator, or in this case, we simply multiply the numerators. Negative 4 times 2v is negative 8v. Then we multiply by 3. So therefore we have 10v equals 75. And we divide by 10, we have the actual velocity. Now this v does not take into consideration the current, but is the speed of the boat in still water. Now this question was a bit confusing. I recommend that you hide the solution and try it again yourself.